Hello, good evening, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the RAFE Motorsports YouTube channel and Facebook, or wherever you're watching us. And we are in for an absolute treat because it's round 3 of the Armed Forces Virtual Race Challenge, and we go to my hometown. Last time we were at pretty much not too far away from my co-commentator John Knighton's neck of the woods. Now we're up here in Scotland in Fife, near Dunfermline at Knockhill Racing Circuit. And John, a tight, twisty, technical track. I think this is just what the championship needed.
Yes, and if last week's racing is anything to go by, David, I think we're in for some very interesting racing tonight, because I think the drivers, they would agree they found a real challenge last week. If they think that was a challenge, then Knockhill is going to be an even bigger challenge. And I know that a lot of them have been practicing, and there have been some interesting coming offs that we've been already watching in practice tonight already. So when they get racing, going to be fascinating, and I think the winners tonight are the ones who are going to stay on the track for longest.
I think the winners are us tonight, John. I've got to be honest, because we are in for an absolute treat. As we can see one car off into the background just down through Duffus Dip there. One of the things that really catches people out here at Knockhill is not just that it's so short, is the fact of the elevation changes. A lot of the drivers and even up to the motorbike riders say that it is comparable to a roller coaster. So you've got the start finish straight, you go down over Duffus Dip, and the ground just drops away from you, and then it's on down through into McIntyre's, that right-hander. Then it's another short compression up through Butchers, and then up again through the chicane, and then up again to Clark, and then the road evens off around the old bend, and then down towards that hairpin. It looks incredibly straightforward. I can promise you this is going to be one of the most challenging tracks on the circuit, or on the calendar for these drivers, John. And again, just barely wide enough to take two cars wide. I think we're going to see that test to the limit tonight.
Yeah, of course, this is all new for all the drivers. Knockhill was not on the schedule for last year's championship when they were driving the Mazdas. So I think if you add the more powerful Porsches they've got today and this new track, it's going to be very, very interesting. And I think a lot is going to depend, on who gets the best starts. I think a good start tonight and to stay out of trouble could be key to success. So I think that's why they're being really going for it during the qualifying.
Yeah, qualifying very, very important, as you pointed out there. Craig Durant, we got a little glimpse of there, our championship leader, doing incredibly well in the championship so far, leading the overall Drivers' Championship standings with 65 points from James King in that GT3 Cup car, the 992s. Now, just as a small aside, as we've got a minute left to go in qualifying here, fastest time so far, Matty Chambers, 47.215. That is actually 0.3 of a second, believe it or not, John, faster than the real-life Porsche Cup here at Knockhill.
Well, that's impressive. That is impressive stuff. And well, if he can maintain that, then he's got a really good chance of doing well this evening. But put other cars on the track racing against each other, and things might be a wee bit different, I would suggest. But I think that the championship so far, I think as well, something to point out this evening is there are quite a few drivers missing tonight who've obviously, because they can't be here for a variety of reasons. So it's going to open the field up a little bit for those people maybe who have been lagging behind, or maybe it can push those up front a bit further at the table.
Yeah, and that's the fantastic thing about this championship, John, is, you know, as you said, for a variety of reasons, some drivers can't make it tonight. Other drivers might not be able to make it the next week, or for the week after. So there's no real advantage to that. And plus, we've got the drop scores anyway, so they can miss around without affecting their championship whatsoever. And yeah, great to see that so many drivers still, because again, from experience, John, commentating on many esports championships, after round 3 a lot of drivers tend to drop out, whereas with this, looking at the MX5s last season, almost everyone was in it until the end.
Yes, they were. Very few drivers were unable to compete in certainly all the events they wanted to. We did go back to Silverstone a couple of times, and Brands Hatch as well a couple of times. Different circuits, obviously, at the time, but because we have spread it around a bit, I think certainly with Knockhill, I think that's made it for a lot of people really want to get to know this course and know how they can cope with it.
I'd be very keen to hear what the drivers think of the course after the first couple of races here tonight, because of course, from experience, every driver that I've ever spoken to, having used to work there in real life on the commentary team, when drivers would come up to it brand new, they'd absolutely love it. But we'll talk more about that in a second. Here is how qualifying goes then for here at Knockhill. Matty Chambers on pole position from Ryan Martin in second place. Ollie Waynes in third with Chris Slater in fourth position. Fifth place for Chris Bolland with Chris Darnell in sixth. Harry Gardner in seventh with Stu Etic in eighth position. Dan Berris and Ben Weston in ninth and 10th position, with Colin Scott in 11th and Michael Clough taking pole position for the GT Force. Now that is a turn up for the books there. Craig Durant in second place with Luke Arpino on row 2 alongside Duncan Steele. Dan Hardwick alongside Steve Ward. James Fielding at the back of the grid with Michael Tate. But as you said, a very short track. 47 seconds to 49 seconds is the average lap time going around here, and my goodness me, are we in for an absolute treat tonight. So the cars lined up ready to go for this first race. Again, we have to touch on the fact, John, that finishing in position doesn't necessarily equate to driver points, given that it's all about that performance index.
Yes, and that'll be the performance index could be crucial tonight. You know, how drivers actually cope with staying on the course, but clearly they want to win, don't they? They want to, by definition, if you're leading the race, the chances are your track position is going to be best. But let's just see what happens as we head towards this start of the first one of these two races tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing that battle at the top. I must admit, with Matty Chambers and Ryan as well, and Ollie Wayne as well, who Ryan Martin, Ollie Wayne, and Chris Slater. It's going to be very interesting to see how they get on. And Michael Clough had a really good start, didn't he? He did well last week, so he will be looking to cement a decent position tonight as well, ahead of Craig Durant.
Well, fingers crossed. I'm feeling a little bit queasy after that start line camera going back and forward there, goodness me. But it's going to be a very short formation lap now. That is the other benefit from this race as well, is the fact that these cars are going to be going from a rolling start, a very difficult track to do a standing start at, because that start-finish line is actually slightly uphill at the start-finish line, even more so on the exit of the hairpin. But it is already nearly time to go racing. Matty Chambers and Ryan Martin leading the field around. This is through towards the old hairpin then for the first time, and they will absolutely light the touch paper on these cars and get them set off as we see 16 cars heading down in towards Duffus Dip. I'm kind of nervous, as I'm not sure where Ryan Martin is trying to go there at the hairpin. There is a corner there, and he does eventually decide to take it. But here we go then, round 3 of the AFVRC is ready to go, and the GT4's not that far back as well, but the lights come on and we get ready to go racing. Lights are out, away we go down towards the hill for the first time, and Ryan Martin has to tuck in behind Matty Chambers, who launches it off the curb on the inside there, but all the cars making it safely down do the cup cars, and then it's the GT4, so there's a little bit of contact there. That was Luke Arpino and Craig Durant there coming into blows there, but they think better of it, get themselves back onto the right there. Yeah, there's a cup car there. That is Dan Beres, I believe, John, that's already lost it at the start of this race.
Yeah, we expected maybe there'd be a few. Ooh, and he took a bit of a spin there, just slightly overcooked it, didn't he? And with those rear wheels, there's no quarter given, but the rest of them seem to have made a good start, and it looks to me like they're just taking it really careful. There's a bit of a nudge there. Oh, that is it's like musical chairs out there, isn't it? So I'm just seeing who that is, who's just lost it just there.
That was Craig Durant and Luke Arpino, John. That was our championship leader that has come afoul there.
Oh dear. Well, I say there's no quarter given, and we may see quite a lot of that this evening. There are obviously fewer cars on the grid, but I don't think that's going to make any difference at all.
No, I think you're absolutely spot on with that. Luke Arpino into the pit lane, so is Dan Hardwick and Steve Ward, and just like that, we are down to the 15 cars on the grid here as Craig Durant makes his way round onto the recovery drive, in danger already of being lapped by Matty Chambers, who's about 10 seconds behind Craig Durant right now. But 15-minute race, and obviously looking at the pace as Ben Weston loses it coming down in towards McIntyre's, then that looks like it's going to be straight into the wall for him. He's going to have to try and pick that car out of the gravel trap here, but this is Ryan Martin still in that second position. There is Ben Weston. In fact, it's before that, that's right after Duffus Dip, and he's not actually come too much into problems there. What he's done
lost a wheel. Has he lost a wheel? Has he got a puncture?
I think he's just waiting for the cars. So what he's doing is great bit of intelligent driving there from Ben Weston. He knew he couldn't rejoin safely because it's so blind coming over the top of the crest of that hill there. Waited for all of the cars to get past just so he could get back on and do his race. That is brilliant stuff to see from Ben. Obviously, we don't want to see any incidents, but again, yeah, superb sportsmanship. But here is Michael Clough. Again, really fighting hard here, but then I just realised that's a cup car, a GT3 cup car, so he's looking fairly comfortable, 6 seconds ahead of Duncan Steele here, John.
Yeah, he's made a very good start, hasn't he? Very good start, and I say, stay out of trouble, and you can pick up points here, but it's very easy to come a cropper, as we're just seeing there, and he's just taking some of the bollards out, isn't he? And wherever you look on this track, there's things going on, and as the cars become more and more spread out, mayhem. I think we're going to see more and more, as I say, more and more of this. So I think we're going to have eyes in the back of our head here, David, with this one.
I need to know who that was in the GT4 car there that just went straight through the middle of it. Cool trickle style, as we see Chris Slater. Also, it was Chris Slater power sliding into the front of a GT4 car, and look at that, straight through the middle. That was the 22 of Michael Clough. So that was your GT4 leader that went straight through the middle of that. Incredible stuff there from
Michael Clough. He has now a 5-second lead as well in the GT4. That's a healthy lead to have at this stage, and Chambers as well has got nearly a 4-second lead on Martin too. So, they're just building up a little head of steam at the front of the pack.
You can tell though, John, can't you? The drivers that have really been practicing and putting in the time to learn this track and its very unique nature here.
Yes, you can. But it won't do any good at all, of course, if someone comes a cropper and you can't actually alter your course, like we saw with Chris Slater a few seconds ago. There was nothing he could do about that. There was a car literally spread out in front of him, and he came around the corner. There was nothing he could do but just sort of turn sideways and do the least amount of damage, I guess.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a fair assessment of that situation there. The car's coming across the line then to complete lap number 6. And what a race we have had so far. It's looking very good for Matty Chambers at the front of the field for the Cup cars, and then at the front of the GT4s. Michael Clough being a good selection of the GT3s as well. 6 seconds he looks to be ahead of Duncan Steele. James Fielding in third place for that GT4 class, and Craig Durant, I mean, he is going to be holding his head in his hands after the start to the race there. He got caught up with Luke Arpino, and looking back at that incident, some might say that it was an unfortunate accident. He went right into the back of Luke Arpino, spun Luke round, and Luke couldn't stop spinning round, and it ended up tagging Durant round, and ended up costing the two of them several places, and they move all the way down the order. In fact, Luke Arpino actually went into the pits, and that is why he is 44 seconds behind. He's going to be close to being put a lap down very, very shortly. But as we near the halfway point of this race there, as you see a Cup car in the background, I think that was Ollie Waynes, as we've got more cars off in the background. That is a GT4 trying to rejoin, and that's Dan Hardwick. And yeah, that's a bit of a scary moment, because you've got another GT3 car trying to make its way round over the crest of the chicane. Let's have a look here. Yep, tries to take too much power in.
Yes.
And I think he's just a passenger at that point.
We are seeing that corner is posing an awful lot of issues for the cars, coming round it. Just get that angle just a little bit wrong, and you spin, you're in trouble. And hot tyres are not going to make any difference at all today, are they? You would have thought that the hot tyres might just keep the grip a bit more, but that was just slightly overcooking it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So because of the camber change and because of the elevation change, that's bad enough. But when you throw it into the curbs, as really the drivers have to do, that's the only way you get the fastest times, is to launch it off the curbs. That leaves the car unstable, and that's when bad things can and usually do tend to happen. But back on with Craig Durant and up into third position, as he's managed to get past that's James Fielding. So something had happened to Fielding then, because that was a gap of around about 8 seconds, I think, to Craig Durant, and that's now swapped over. So up onto the podium then, and he'll be looking to try and undo the damage here, but realistically, with 11 seconds between him and Duncan Steele, I think this is likely the best he is going to get. As you can see on the back of him there, that is one of the GT3 Cup cars. That's the number 87 actually of Chris Bolland here, and this is Michael Tate again going down to the Butchers, and this is a little bit earlier. Oh, so he goes on to the gravel. Oh no, that looks like a pretty hard hit into the wall, and that is a bad accident. I tell you what, if you're that poor car in the gravel there, John, you're not going to know what's hit you.
No, I mean, I feel a bit sorry for him, because it's not his fault. He'd gone off trying to get back on again, and then suddenly he gets clunked from behind. That is a bit serious. But you made such a good point, really, David, about we don't really see from the sort of the higher angles just the camber of this circuit that you talked about earlier, how difficult it is actually to negotiate, not just the corners and the bends and the fact that it's so quite, from this angle you can see just what it's like, and just how you're having to overcompensate all the time, or undercompensate, to make sure you don't spin. So it's no surprising that we're seeing lots of coming offs.
Yeah, it really is, and again, from personal experience, having taken cars round the track here, let's stay on board actually with Craig Durant, and we'll get an idea from the GT4's point of view of what it's like going up here. So we climb the start-finish straight, again saying that it's on that slope, very difficult for standing starts. You've got to pick your braking point. You want to try and clip that apex on the right-hand side there, pull the car in. Again, you don't want to be on the brakes when the car's going downhill, otherwise you're going straight into the wall. You lift off, let the car dip into McIntyres, down through the compression at Butchers, up the hill towards the chicane again, and it's just absolutely relentless. You don't get a second to breathe or to think about anything until you get to this point here. It's through the right-hander, up the hill towards Clark's, and again you can just put the foot down, and now you get a chance to recoup. Now you get a chance to think, right, what am I doing here? What am I going to be going on to at this next lap? Onto the brakes in towards the hairpin again. Late entry is what I find works so well. You want to leave that car out to the left hand side as late as you possibly can and then pull the car in. That's what gets you a good exit out, and believe it or not, that's already a lap of Knockhill done in just 50 seconds. It is intense, to say the least. It
certainly is, and that gave us a really good insight really into what the drivers are doing. And let's face it, that's a pretty horrific accident there as well, isn't it, for Luca Prino, who of course he started third, didn't he, in the GT4s. He's back on though, and hopefully he can pull himself back into contention again. But we got a really good insight there, David, into what it's like, and that was basically a clear track that we saw with Craig Durrant. Didn't have too much in front of him. He's still got quite a bit of making up to do. But Michael Clough still leading there, the GT4. Look, he's got a 12-second, nearly 13-second lead now. Really pushed out well there. Unless he makes a huge error now, he'll be looking for maximum points here. And Matty Chambers as well. He's got a 10-second, 10.5-second lead on Durnell as well in second place. So those two have really made those leading positions their own.
Yeah, they really have, and what I've just realised as well is that we need to keep an eye on the GT3 Cup cars, because we have got a four-way battle just coming down the back stretch just now. Chris Durnell, Chris Bolland, Ryan Martin and Stu Etic all fighting it out, and the four cars separated by less than 1.5 seconds right now. So they come out of the hairpin, then booting it up the start-finish line here, and 11.5 minutes gone in this race, and there is nothing to separate. In fact, make that now 5 cars, because Ollie Wayne has joined in this little competition here as well. So we've now got 5 cars that are all just very, very close to making this happen here. So just ahead of Chris Bolland is Chris Durnell. This is a fascinating little entry that we've got here for the final 4 minutes of the race.
It is indeed. Matty Chambers, as I say, has got himself a nice little lead there. If he can keep that up, stay out of trouble, let the guys behind him just sort it out amongst themselves for those other places. He looks like he's got the top podium position sorted, but it's a bit too early to call on that one perhaps. The same with Michael Clough in the GT4s. Not quite such a huge battle going on there, with Craig Durrant having to make up quite a bit of time there on Mr. Steele to see if he can get back into second place, which of course is where he started. He started the race in second place. But interesting. And Chris Boland just slightly taking it off the track there, but he's recovered all right, and they are still challenging one after. It's really tight, isn't it? Very, very exciting, these last few bits, David.
I'm sorry, what? How did Chris Bolland manage to hold that off on Ryan Martin there? That's absolute craziness there. But he overcooks the brakes, thinks about getting a better exit out of the corner, but I think Ryan Martin just got the advantage there. The two of them, though, are going to be coming in to Duffus Dip. Let's see what happened to Darren Beres here. I think it's going to be an unforced error. It's going to be too much on the power on the exit of the corner there. Does a great job of holding that off. Does he keep it? Does he keep it? Does he keep it? No, I think he's going to go just slightly off onto the grass, actually. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. He did save that very, very well. Well done, Darren Beres, for holding on to that one. Right, so Ryan Martin has got ahead of Chris Bolland. Look at Ollie Wayne now. Now, Ollie Wayne was down at the back of that group. All contact, and that is when the GT4s just got absolutely punched in the side there. In fact, no, that was a GT4, and I believe that was a GT3 that was getting nudged out the way there. They're not going to be too popular after that one, I don't think, there, John, but it's coming up the start-finish line. 1 minute left to go, and this race just shows no sign of giving up here.
No, it's going to be fascinating all the way, but the guys will also realise that they can't afford to make any mistakes now. They can't just, give it maybe a bit too much, because it will end in disaster otherwise. So they are just, playing it as cool as they can. But Michael Clough here, we're with now And he's had a bit of a wobble there, but I think he'll be all right. He's got that 11, nearly 12-second lead on the second place man, so that's looking good for him with Ryan Martin at the moment, and he's still challenging there, isn't he, for trying to get up to Darnell in second place. But I think that maybe that second place is looking pretty secure now for Craig Darnell too. So the top 2 places maybe in the GT3 looking good, but it's again very, very close. I think it's all to play for as we go into the last few minutes, the last few moments.
Yeah, absolutely is. Now, what has happened to Michael Clough? Michael Clough went into the pit lane there. That is bizarre. Okay, did he get a drive-through penalty or something? That is absolutely bizarre from Michael Clough. So there we go. Checkered flag is out, and Matty Chambers comes across the line to win a frantic, chaotic race here at Knockhill. It's going to be Chris Darnell coming out of the hairpin to finish in second place, and then Ryan Martin will come across the line in third, Chris Bolland in fourth, Ollie Waynes in fifth, as it's going to be Duncan Steele, believe it or not, who is going to win the GT4s. That is unreal. I have no idea what happened to Michael Clough on that final lap there, but either way, and it could have been so different for, look at that, Craig Durant, is he out of fuel? Durant's just went and won the race. Durant has just won the GT4s. Duncan Steele has run out of fuel on the final stretch of look, the car's slowing down. John, I've never seen anything like that.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow, how extraordinary. Drama, we were promised drama, we certainly had it, haven't we?
How has Craig Durant just won that race? What? Like, the gods have conspired in his favour, and I mean, talk about get out of jail free card. That is unbelievable luck from Craig Durant. So we have a look at the wheel then. This is for the reverse grid then. Let's have a look at who we are going to get on pole position for race number 2. 11 cars, so we've got top 11. I believe that puts Ben Weston on pole position. So that is the last of our GT3s in the order anyway. But Ben Weston, I believe, goes on pole position. Wow, John, what a race and what drama on that last lap.
Yeah, I mean, talk about running out of fuel. That's I've never seen that before. In the short time I've been watching this, that's the first time I've seen that happen. And what happened to Michael Clough too? He went into the pits, and I think he ended up. Did he end up third? I'm not sure.
Wondering, John, if so many drivers have decided to keep it a little bit lean in terms of fuel, and they've maybe just been caught out here. But we'll certainly find out if we can get some of the drivers in for a very quick chat. But what we're going to do in the meantime, we're going to take a very short break, and we'll be back in a second. So a very warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a couple of drivers in to have a chat with. So John, I mean, there's so many questions. Let's bring in, I think first off, we have to have a chat with Matty Chambers on his race win here.
It's alright, yeah. Cheers.
Matty, we've stolen you away. Apologies about that, my friends. But just very quickly, congratulations on the race win. Incredible pace here at Knockhill. What is that track like to drive?
Oh, I love it. I love this track. It's like an old little kart track or something. I love the up and downs, and yeah, it's just good fun. You can't not concentrate for a single moment, or you're off in the dirt.
And how difficult is it with the traffic? Because obviously doing those solid 47s, you must have come across the GT4s quite quickly.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 laps, and I was like, no way. And yeah, it was real difficult because there's not many places to overtake. You sort of just got to be patient through the chicanes up the hill, and so you can get one into second to last corner and the next one at the hairpin. But you sort of got, if you catch them at the wrong moment, you're stuck for a good 10-20 seconds.
Awesome. You led from the front there as well, Matty. So stayed out of trouble, built yourself up a good lead. There was quite a battle, quite an interesting array of drivers behind you, all vying for those other podium places. But you steered clear of it, so you must be pleased about that.
Yeah, nice to get another win on the board.
You're certainly doing well for the senior service, so that's excellent performance there, Matty. And good luck for the next run.
Yeah, cheers for that.
So who should we bring in? Now, though?
Let's have a look then. So Chris Darnell, what we'll do is we'll bring in Chris Darnell and Ryan Martin and do those two for the GT3s together for you, and then we'll speak to the GT4s.
Okay, fair enough. So Chris Darnell is there with us. Chris, what was the race like there for you?
Hectic.
I think that sums it up perfectly. Certainly from where we were in the commentary box, it looked pretty hectic. We did a one lap, just sort of seeing a driver's eye view of it, and the camber that you have to deal with, and the constant changing is very, very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, especially, it's all right when you're driving around on your own, but when you got like Ryan in front of me to start with, and then him and Chris Boland behind me chasing me down for most of the race, so when you've got someone in your mirrors, it makes it a bit more difficult.
It does indeed, but you held your own. You did well. You'd be pleased with that first race.
Yeah, really pleased. Yeah, I didn't. Well, I'm not the quickest round here, so it was more trying to keep it on the track.
Yeah, as we suggested, maybe that that's the secret of success today, and certainly with that performance index, you don't necessarily have to be the fastest today.
Yeah, it's just hard to do consistent.
Well, you're pretty consistent there, so well done. Congratulations on that.
Cheers.
So who's coming in to talk to us next then, David?
We've got Ryan Martin.
Yeah, Ryan. Okay, well, that was certainly an interesting first race from our point of view. How was it for you, Ryan?
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. I made the one mistake in the last turn. I actually thought the car was going to spin properly, but I was able to get the balance back and stop it from spinning properly. So I just lost all the momentum on the straight, got mugged off by 2 guys, and then luckily was able to have a little race with Chris Boland and get back past him on the last turn. It was fun. I mean, it was a little bit frustrating, obviously, but it's good fun around this track, and because it's near to home as well. I'm originally from Kirkcaldy, so only like 10 miles from Knockhill. So yeah, it's fun to race near home.
Well, it's good to see the sun shining there today in the virtual world, anyway. And so, Ryan, good luck for the second race coming up very, very shortly.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it is virtual, John, because I can assure you it never shines in real life anyway, that's for sure.
Oh, I can't believe that.
I used to work there, so I get to say that.
I certainly wouldn't say
one day. Right, let's bring in the GT4s then. We need to find out what on earth happened with Craig Durant, and we've got Duncan Steele as well, and you can find out what on earth happened to poor Michael Clough, John.
Yeah, we can, but I think we've got Craig first of all. Craig, what happened there? You pull that win out.
I don't know. You tell me.
Completely out of the bag. We think that there might have been a fuel issue there somewhere with someone running a little bit light, because that's the only thing we can think of. But you won't be complaining you won't be complaining too much about that, will you?
No, I was committed to finish where I finished, to be honest, because I obviously had that incident in the first lap. I was just logging laps, trying to stay consistent, and obviously I saw P2 coming towards me, and then just got out of the way of him to get across the line. So
yeah, well, it was it just goes to show you just go right through to the end, because you just never know what's going to happen. It certainly left us unprepared in the commentary box, I can tell you that.
I bet it did, yeah. It woke me up, I tell you.
Let's move to the man who then we'd like to know what happened to Duncan, I think, as well. Is he there with us now? Duncan, what on earth went wrong?
I just got the fuel calculations wrong. So the whole last lap, I was lifting and coasting. I was trying to make it, but coming out of the hairpin, it was just coughing and spluttering. And I had the relative up, and I could see Craig coming. There was nothing I could do. So yeah, just miscalculation on my part.
Well, we were scratching our heads here in the commentary box. Well, there was either some sort of mechanical issue you had, or it was a fuel issue. So just put a drop. I know that the price of fuel's shooting through the roof at the moment. But,
I don't know if I can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, it's lessons learned, isn't it? That's the only thing you can say.
That's it. Yeah, I've put a few more litres in this time. We won't have that problem again.
Well, good luck for the next race.
Thank you very much.
And I think we've got Michael here as well, have we? Michael Clough, is he joining us?
Yes, good evening.
Michael.
How are you doing?
Yeah, well, we're very well, but we'd like to know what happened to you, because you had that commanding lead and then it disappeared. What went wrong?
I think contrary to Craig's mantra of just keep going to the end, that wasn't an option for me. I didn't expect to be running, I think, as quick as I was doing, and I used too much fuel, and I was about 0.7 of a litre short or something. I had to pit, otherwise I wouldn't have made it to the end. So that was my undoing then.
That's another fuel issue. I've never come across, David, in the commentary box, we were just saying we've never come across this at all before with under fueling, but that's certainly not going to happen next time, is it, Michael?
Absolutely. I know what I'm doing now. That's the problem with listening to other people in the chat.
Good stuff. Well, there's another race to come. I say lessons to be learned. So well done, nevertheless. It was a very good race up until that last lap.
That's some consolation. Thank you.
Good stuff. Well, a lot of honesty there, David. I think you'd agree.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think when you're under the spotlight like this, you don't really have any choice there, John. You kind of have to just own up to it and take it on the chin, really. But look, it's lesson learned for race 2. They'll certainly not be making the same mistake twice. And talking of race 2, cars out on track, John, for their race warm-up session. If that first race is anything to go by, oh my, this is going to be good.
It certainly is, and maybe they're going to overfuel this time, but who knows? I think the lesson that we learned there is that if you start first and just maintain a certain amount of consistency, it's going to put you in a good position. And I think we heard there that it's been a challenge for everybody. So you just don't count your chickens, do you, until you get to that last lap and the checkered flag.
And that's it. It's going to be a fantastic sight. And we're just a couple of minutes of waiting away from getting back into the second race. So what we'll do then is we'll take another short commercial break. We'll be right back after this. Hey, very warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Told you it was going to be a short commercial break, and here we are on the grid then for race number 2 of the evening, and it was absolutely spot on. Ben Weston on pole position then, leading the GT3 Cup cars across the line, and then it is going to be Luke Arpino leading the GT4s. Mike Chambers at the back of that pack then in 11th position. And we get ready to do our formation lap. And again, Craig Durant having to start at the back of the grid. But as we've seen from previous races, it might not be too much of an ask. But here at Knockhill, with how difficult it is to overtake, I think it's going to be a very difficult ask for these race 1 winning drivers.
Well, and this is a lot of incidents going on ahead of them, I guess, which will give them the opportunity possibly to work their way up the field, because it's always very tight, isn't it, at the start, and everyone's jockeying for position. So that's when accidents and incidents and mistakes can happen. So we will see. But great opportunity for Ben Weston. We haven't seen too much of him so far, have we, in this race? So a good opportunity to see how he can cope with the pressure, I suppose, of actually leading. And in the GT4, well, Luke had, he was in 3rd place, wasn't he? He was the 3rd on the grid in the first race tonight. So again, he'll be out to prove what he can do, because he had a few coming off, shall we say, in that first race.
Just a few incidents, not
a few.
Really, nothing to write home about. But we'll certainly see on what is going to happen here as the car's making their way through the back stretch just now into the hairpin for the first time in this second race. Remember, another 15 minutes on the clock, and we do it all again. What can Ben Weston do from the front of this grid? We're about to find out as the pace car pulls in. Ben Weston is about to put the foot down. You can see Chris Slater trying to get the jump as well. And look at that, they've already been done. They've been caught before the green flag flies. And remember that this is slightly different in iRacing. As soon as they get the green flag, and there's contact! The two of them go. Dan Betts and Chris Slater go flying down the hill at Duffus Dip. And wow, big drama in the start of this race.
Yeah, and that actually looked like Ben Weston as well, who went off too. He's gone right down the field, hasn't he? So this is not a good start for them, and certainly for Chris Slater and Darren Verris too. And it's opened the door for Mr. Etok to give himself a real chance. Stu Etok then taking that opportunity, already got a 2-second lead. And but Luke's made a good start in the GT4s. He's got quite a lot of action going on behind him. Oh, and there's some more coming offs there. That looks like Harry Gardner, who's fallen foul then on the hairpin bend. Let's just, maybe we can see that again. There he is. He's facing the wrong way, and he's now got to wait for everyone to go by. So, as you can see already, drivers are making their way up the field.
Chris Slater into the pits as well. This is Harry Gardner then. This was contacts, I believe, with the 41 and the 86. So the 86 is Chris Darnell. Oh, he gets tagged on the back, and that's the 144 of Matty Chambers there that just accidentally catches him, and a little bump for good luck as well. And then, of course, he's just left waiting, stranded at the exit of the hairpin, because he has to wait for all the cars to go through. And that's a scary place to be, I can absolutely assure you. Dan Hardwick has fallen off the track. That looks like, Clark, what are you doing? Don't reverse on the track. That's that was
so
scary,
good there,
John.
Dan. Not so good there, Dan. Though you'll lose a few performance index points on that one, I'm fairly sure. But again, I think it was the camber of the track just took him off. It caught him, and there he went. Straight into the.
Can you imagine being that car behind John and just seeing that car out of absolutely no? I think that's definitely a change of underwear moment there.
Well, the seat has probably changed colour. I don't know, but anyway, we'll brush over that one. But it's made for an exciting start, and look, Stu Etok has that lead there. He's still got a 2-second gap there on Ryan Martin in second place, and Colin Scutt in third place, and they're building up a bit of a head of steam, those guys. Michael Clough is chasing after Luca Pino at the moment in the GT4s, and he's only half a second behind. So that's looking very close as well. So the car's spreading out a little bit. Who's that? Who's gone off the track there as well? Someone's gone off.
I think that was Ollie. Was that Chris Boland that did that there? And this is on board. So this is what happens when rejoin the track. That is such a scary, scary thing to see from Michael Tate's point of view there, seeing that car coming back on. I think that was Chris Boland who ended up going off there. And I need to bring something to your attention here, John, because I refuse to believe that Craig Durant is in third place already in this second race.
Well, as we said, he had the opportunity. He was right at the back of the grid, obviously, with the way that the wheels spun. But yes, he's working his way through, and I think he's just taken advantage of all those incidents that have gone off in front of him to just work his way through gradually. You heard him say earlier, he was taking it gently. He was just, playing it cool, likes the course, obviously knows the course very well. And who's gone off there?
Oh, that's Colin Scott. That was Colin Scott. He got a hit from Ollie Wayne. He'd lost control of the car coming over Clarkson. Ollie Wayne had absolutely nowhere to go but clip the back of that car there. A very unfortunate accident there for Colin Scott. He'll be retrieving that car out of the gravel as well. But again, when you're in that situation, if Ollie had lifted off or hit the brake pedal, Ollie would have been straight off into the wall himself.
Yeah. And that real battle going on there in the GT4s, look, with Luca Pino and Michael Clough and Craig Durant is there as well. They're close, those top three. There's not a lot between them. So that's going to be a real battle. We'll keep a very close eye on that in the GT4. But Stu Eatock really making the most of this at the moment, although the gap has closed now. It's still around just under 2 seconds, which he's maintaining that. And riding with Darren Berris now, you can just see the car drifting around and bouncing around on the bends here. But look at that! That's really exciting. It's a great, exciting view as he takes on Michael Clough there and gets past him. And so Darren's got a second. Looks like he's got a bit of a second wind here, David.
Yeah, he certainly has, and obviously getting past Michael Clough there as we cut back to Matty Chambers, who's doing his own Houdini act right now. Currently 5th place, fastest man on the track, 47.74 seconds that last lap round. But here comes Craig Durant then on the back of Luca Pino. Then they go around the corner at Duffus there. I've got to tell you, that is one of the most unusual lines I think I've seen coming down that hill, and it worked wonderfully there for Craig Durant there. But this is back to Ollie Wayne right on the back of Craig Darnell. And Craig Darnell there, just in front of Ollie Wayne and Matty Chambers. So Matty desperate to get himself back up into this podium here as they come down through Duffus onto the brakes there, through that right-hander, down the compression towards Butchers, and then up the hill towards the chicane. And again, just so close in this contact. That's the 41, Harry Gardner, and I get the feeling that might have been Dan Berris that was involved in that one. Meanwhile, we cut back to Clarkson. It's an absolute traffic jam. There goes Matty Chambers side by side, tries to close it off. There's going to be tears before bedtime. Someone's off into the gravel there as well. Oh my goodness me, that's the 41, that's Harry Gardner as well. And the 144 of Matty Chambers loses out massively. 16,000 cars apparently, all in the same bit of tarmac here at Knockhill, and we're not even halfway into the race. And we need to take a little breath to find out what on earth just happened there.
It's like watching the British Touring Car Championship, it really is. There's so many cars coming together, and as you say, the track is only really wide enough for two, isn't it? And suddenly we've got 3 or 4 all running together. And look at that, Harry Gardner really putting a shove in there. And he stops.
Oh no, that was Luca Pino. That was the GT4 leader that got wiped out by Harry Gardner. That means that Michael Clough now into the lead of the GT4s.
So I don't think that Harry is going to be on Luke's Christmas card list for next year. With a move like that. But as you say, Michael Clough has jumped into the lead in the GT4. Hope he's got enough fuel on board, David. I really do this time. Stu Eatock still leading, and then that the gap has not come down to Ryan Martin. It's still around 1.5, just under 2 seconds. So I think Stu Etok's doing a great job. He's doing a grand job in the GT3, leading the race.
Yeah, he certainly is. And Michael Tate coming a cropper down at the bottom of McIntyre's, then comes back on, gets absolutely mullered by the 35 of Steve Ward. And going back to Harry Gardner there, actually, that incident into the hairpin. I know obviously the armed forces, John, have a variety of sports that they take part in. Do you guys have a 10-pin bowling team? Because I tell you what, I'd be voting for Harry Gardner for that one.
Yes. Yeah, a 10-pin bowling, not a recognised sport in the military, but people do it. If you're out in Akrotiri, there's a fantastic 10-pin bowling centre there, which I've been to many times in the past. And there are some people who are very good. They certainly have local leagues, on various bases and stations. But it's not there's not an inter-services championship as such, not that I know of anyway. I'm sure there's an unofficial one. But yes, this is actually quite good practice, I would suggest. And who is that?
Oh my goodness me, that's Matty Chambers! That's Matty Chambers into the wall, and that is on the exit of Clarkson. He has gone back to pit lane, and that is a horrible, horrible accident. So, again, John, all that work that he's done to get himself back up the field, and it's all been undone after an incident.
Happened? We must just have a look at again and see what happened to Matty there. Was it a drive error? Did someone nudge him? He looked like he was on his own when it happened. Then we can see him coming. Yeah,
no,
actually, he was nudged. He was nudged.
That was that the 85? Was that Ryan Martin that came across him just as he was? It looked like a similar one to Ollie Wayne, where he was having his own moment and ended up getting caught by the car behind him. So that might have been Chris Darnell actually that we're looking at here. So. Wow, huge turn up for the books there, because again, championship-wise, that turns everything on its head.
It certainly does, and so Matty Chambers, he started from the back of the grid, obviously with the way that things worked out, with the spinning of the wheel. Yes, it was just a very quick clip, wasn't it? It was just enough, because Matty was just about to turn into that brief little curve. And he was like a spinning top there. Look, how many times did he turn round? But he'll not be a happy man, because he, as you say, he worked so hard to get himself back up to the top, to the lead. But Michael Clough now has a 3.6 second lead over Craig Durrant there in the GT4 class. But as we keep saying, there's Stu Etok there going really well. Although the gap has now dropped to under half a second. So Ryan Martin is chasing. He's catching. That's going to be exciting in the last few moments.
Yeah, it certainly is. And just a couple of minutes left to go. Colin Scott has come a cropper again early on. Looks like that is going to be down towards Clark's then. He gets the car back on and gets himself going again. Michael Tate off the track as well. Oh, that was a huge moment there. That was a car going down through Duffy's dip there. That was Michael Tate. He went wide. Chris Darnell goes wide off into McIntyre's as well. That puts him further down and puts him at risk of getting caught up from Craig Darnell. Chris Darnell, just a couple of cars behind him there. You can see him right behind him. Oh my goodness me. So Colin Scott, let's have a look here what happens there. It's going to be that chicane again, isn't it? Just a little bit too wide, doesn't take enough of the curb on the right hand side, into the gravel and around and around and around you go. And we've got a change for the lead. Stu Etok has lost the lead to Ryan Martin. Again, it's going to be side by side when we cut back to it. But here we go, it's going to be traffic, so it's while they try and get round that GT4 car behind them. Stu Etok loses the lead of the race, and look at this, side by side the teammates as they come across the line.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's just traffic on the track that's cost Stu the lead there. It was so close, but you knew that Ryan Martin was chasing him, catching him, and he's already got just a 0.4 of a second lead at the moment. So there's still time for Stu Etok to get that back. So you can't take your eyes off this for a moment, can you, Dave? You really can't.
You really can't. And Ollie Wayne has now lost third place Ollie Wayne comes into some sort of issue and loses 2 positions. This is Michael Tate though. This is what we saw earlier. So he locks up the brakes going into Duffus. The car spins round and just manages to avoid the number 1 of Chris Slater there. And that is a scary, scary moment for both of the drivers involved there. If you're Chris Slater, you're just praying that you don't get into anything there. But here we go. This is a battle for 3rd place then, because as we said, Ollie Wayne losing that 3rd place to Chris Darnell and Chris Bolland. And with just 2 minutes left to go in this race, it's still Ryan Martin in the lead of this race by 0.6 of a second from Stu Etic and Chris Darnell. And Ollie Wayne dead. It's again at chicane. Again, it just too much curb on the right hand side. The car's unsettled. Thankfully doesn't hit anything, but that is the damage done for Ollie Wayne.
It certainly is, and that chicane has been the bane of everyone's life, hasn't it? Really today, I don't think there can't be too many drivers who haven't suffered there and struggled. It's just the camber coming out of it. You're just not ready for it. And Matty Chambers is right at the back. Is he actually out of the race? I'm not seeing him moving at all.
Yeah, I think he is.
I think that's his race done, and that's really unfair and unfortunate on him. But that's racing. These things can happen all the time. And I don't think Chris Slater will have actually noticed anything about what was happening just behind him, that he was very nearly clipped from behind with that incident we saw just a few moments ago. So he'll be blissfully unaware of that, probably.
You're 100% on that one. What you can get, and we spoke about this in previous weeks, is a phenomenon known as netcode, where cars, there's a little bit of confusion between the computers and the server of where the cars actually are, and that's a big lock up of the brakes for Chris Bolland there. The computers and the servers get a little bit mixed up, and sometimes the server thinks that there's contact, whereas the computer at home doesn't actually see anything happen. So it could literally have been that Matty Chambers, according to Chris Bolland, just went flying off into the barrier with no reason why that happened. And of course, for a fact Matty Chambers is going to be absolutely fizzing, because he feels, or he, as far as he's concerned, Chris Bolland just put him into the wall there. But I get the feeling that might be one for the stewards to deal with tonight, John. But there we go. 15 minutes is gone. The white flag flies.
It does. Checker flag's just gone, hasn't it? So, or it will be going. And so we're on to the last lap here. It's been a great race, really exciting. And we're not going to see, hopefully, any fuel issues now. All the drivers will have learnt, I'm sure, from that. But what a great race.
Really, really has been. So Ryan Martin then coming round the hairpin for the final time. He's going to come out of it to get across the line and take the win here from Stu Etic. He's going to be very, very happy indeed. It's a 1-2 then for the RAF Central Fund GT3. Chris Darnell is going to come across the line in third, 9 seconds behind them. And then it's going to be Chris Bolland in 4th position. Ollie Wayne, after that spin, is going to take 5th place. Ben Weston in 6th. Dan Berris is going to finish in 7th. Colin Scott in 8th. Chris Slater is going to finish in 9th position. But Michael Clough takes the GT4 victory, and an amazing performance from Craig Durant to get all the way from the back of that GT4 grid up onto 2nd place there. And then it is going to be Duncan Steele in 3rd place for the GT4s. Luke Arpino in 4th, and then James Fielding in 5th. Dan Hardwick will come across the line in 6th place. It's then Steve Ward and Michael Tate 1 lap and 2 laps down respectively. But there we go, that is Knockhill, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scotland.
Phew, I'm out of breath just watching that.
And the weird thing about that, John, is that is identical. That is exactly what it's like watching races here at Knockhill, and the incidents that we saw tonight, absolutely identical. That's the same sort of things you see time and time again. Cars locking up, coming in towards the hairpin or in towards Duffus Step. Cars going backwards over the chicane, backwards down through Duffus Step. It's bizarre how virtual life imitates real life.
Indeed, I'm just looking at the timings as well, the best laps for the winning drivers, and certainly in the GT3. Look, Ryan Martin 48.4, Stu Etic 48.36, and Chris Darnell 48.52. That's incredible. incredibly fast best times, aren't they? Really, for those drivers, considering they probably don't know the track very well.
Yeah, and to do that in the middle of a race as well, when it's they're really pushed to the absolute nth degree, is very, very impressive stuff. So there we go. Confirmation: Ryan Martin, Stu Etick, and Chris Darnell are your 1, 2, 3 for the GT3s. Michael Clough, Craig Dunn, and Duncan Steele, your 1, 2, 3 for the GT4s. But what a race we've got! Plenty of interviews, John. I'm going to leave the interviews to you, so you just let me know who you want to speak to, and I'll go and bring them in for you.
Okay, well, I think we should start. Shall we start with the GT3s, and maybe Ryan Martin is there, the winner of the GT3 race, second GT3 race. So Ryan, if you're up, it would be lovely to speak to you, and we'll try and get through as many as we can in these last few minutes. Ryan, congratulations! That was quite a battle you had there with Stu Etock, wasn't it, in that race?
It was great fun. I was catching him, and then eventually got behind him, but then had all the traffic, which was frustrating. But then just had to do the classic late braking into the last turn, and was able to get past him again like I did in the first race. Yeah, it was great. It was great fun catching him up, and eventually getting the P1.
Well, you use that to the traffic to your advantage to get. We'll get Stu's view on that, because he led for quite a lot of the race, of course. But that second race, full of thrills and spills, but you kept out of trouble, and that was the secret of success tonight, I think.
For sure, yeah. At the start of the race, myself and Matty Chambers, you could tell we were just sitting way back, just letting whatever happened happen, because you're almost guaranteed some sort of chaos on lap 1, and thankfully on lap 1 I was able to make up, I think it was maybe 6 positions, but on the back straight a guy did start sliding about, and he started sliding into me, but thankfully he just tapped me, not enough to send me off, but it was so close. On the in the chat, all I was going was no, because I thought it was all going to go wrong, but thankfully I was able to keep it on the track and get some consistent laps in with Stu in front of me. So hopefully, because we're in the same team, he's also been able to get some good laps in there as well.
Yeah, good team performance. So Ryan, congratulations on the win. Let's now bring in Stu Etock, shall we, to have a chat with us, our second place man in the race. Stu, are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can certainly hear you. Well done. That was a real battle you had with your teammate there. He just picked you in the end. You were leading for such a long time in that race, and he wasn't closing up on you until you ran into traffic. That was your downfall at the end.
It was. I got a pretty good break at the beginning, and whatever happened behind me sort of gave me a bit of lead. And I thought I was waiting for the time when they'd catch, because I know there's some quick people out there, so it's only a matter of time. And Ryan, I could see gaining on me. The last thing on my mind was taking out my teammate. So unfortunately, I took the last corner a lot wider than normal, and then got boxed in behind the GT4, and then Ryan passed then.
Very difficult to get past once he'd established that lead. But you'll be really pleased with that performance. So that was good racing at the end, wasn't it? I'm just looking, actually, there's all the messages coming through at the moment. Lots of apologies being made tonight. Which I'm not surprised about, because behind you there have been so many incidents and accidents. This track, certainly, what a great test for everybody.
Oh, it's a great track. I'm surprised on the first race. Actually, it's pretty cleaner than some of the other races, weirdly, or it seemed to be, in my position. But the second race was good, and good timings between us. Not much between the front runners and everybody else.
Oh no, absolutely, and your best times were so. In fact, you had, I think, the best time in the race, the fastest 48.36. So congratulations on that second place, Stuart. It'll certainly help you in your overall placing and certainly the team placing. Let's bring Chris Darnell in now, who finished third in the GT3. Chris, well done. A good race, and certainly lots of things going on all around you. But again, you stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, I managed to. Lap 1, I think, was P11 as we crossed the line, and then somehow was P4 by the end of it, without overtaking anyone on the track. But no, it was good. There was an incident with Matty, which looked like a bit of netcode, unfortunately. But yeah, there was some good close racing.
Indeed. And how testing was that circuit for you? Presumably it's not a circuit you know too well.
No, I'm pretty knackered now. It's quite tiring, dude.
I say David and I are watching. We're watching, but congratulations! That was a really good third place. So well done on that, and that'll certainly bring you some. It's good for the future and the next races to come. So that's Chris Donnell there. Let's move on to the GT4 now, shall we? And see how our top three are talking to us right now. Michael, second time we've spoken to you this evening. You got the fuel right this time.
Yeah, thankfully. I hope so anyway, considering I should have hoped so, considering my first race mistake, but made up for it this time.
And to get the win, it was actually quite a challenging event, wasn't it, with the GT3s and the 4 all mixed up together. Of course, it's quite difficult to keep an eye on things. Well, what was your strategy? Because obviously you were towards the back of the grid to start with. So, what was the plan in that second race?
So it's always difficult on the reverse grid because you're conscious that you want to try and still maintain a decent average for the consistency scoring. But to do so, you really need to get out in front or as close to the front as you can within the first lap, since the first lap's always a little bit of a slow one anyway because of the start and what have you. So try and just my plan was to just try and get through and then just set consistent laps, but trying to drive to a delta on this track with so much traffic is real challenging in itself.
It is indeed. Well, you did extremely well in that second race, so congratulations on the full points there. We'll see how that affects you in the drivers' championship very shortly. Bring Craig in now, Craig Durrant, for a second place in the GT4s tonight. Craig, I mean, bearing in mind how well things went in that first race, again another second place is very good, isn't it?
Yeah, making a thing of this, P1, P2.
Yeah, and not without its incidents though, that race for you.
No, it was a bit cheeky. What's it, beginning of the race? I struggled to get past Luke, I think it was, wasn't it? Which, fair play, we had a contact in race 1, so he was never going to make it easy for me. It's just a shame to see him get taken out like that. I'm sure it was an accident on the GT3's behalf, but yeah.
I think there might be a few protests going on afterwards, but there's I've just been saying there seems to be an awful lot of apologies going on at the moment as well. Maybe people trying to make sure that it doesn't go any further. But overall, you'll be happy with how things have gone tonight at Knockhill.
Yes, yeah. I was concerned that it was going to be a scrappy, a difficult race. It's not a track that I've only just purchased it. Only done literally probably an hour on it. I've been really busy this week. So yeah, I'm glad to take away from it what we have.
Well, that's pretty good going. You can admit now you've only done an hour on the track, but that certainly has served you well. That hour has served you extremely well. Congratulations, Craig, on 2 great races. And let's bring in Duncan as well. Duncan Steele now, third place this evening in the GT4s. And, well, Duncan, how was it for you? Because it looked pretty exciting from where we were sat. Duncan, are you there?
I think he's put himself on mute there, John.
Well, he's muted.
He's here, or he's maybe so excited that he's had to nip off and make himself a cup of coffee.
Well, he was certainly in the interview waiting bit. Mute is one of the favourite words of the age at the moment, isn't it? Duncan,
I was going to say, John, it's not like Duncan to be lost for words, is it?
No, absolutely. And I'm sure he's got a few things to say about that race. But while we'll get Duncan with us in just a few moments. My word, I mean, just talking to a lot of the lads there, they were saying they're absolutely shattered after that. I'm not surprised, are you?
Absolutely not. It's an exhausting, non-stop effort, John. It really is so draining, and you think, oh well, it's just a computer game. It's not real, and I can absolutely assure you. And just like magic, I'm pretty sure I just heard Duncan in the background there.
Hello? Can you hear?
You are there. Yeah. Okay, Duncan. Did you have the mute button on? We've been waiting to talk to you for a moment or two. Was the mute button on, or did you go and make yourself a sneaky cup of coffee?
I wish I had, yeah. But I don't know what was going on. Technical failure.
All right. Well, we'll let you off on that. It's been an exhausting race to watch. Was it an exhausting race for you to drive?
The first few laps were people just seemed to send it a bit more than race one. So there was a lot of incidents, and coming from the back, P7 I think it was. So you just had to navigate through and survive the first few laps, and then just kind of plodded away. And I couldn't catch the leaders. They were gone, so kind of had a lonely race, to be honest. It wasn't
a
much
lonely
going on.
race, but it's not bad when at the end of that lonely race you end up on the podium.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not complaining. It was good to get the consistency, which is what we need to try here. So you're almost just going to a lap delta.
Indeed. I mean, I've said this to a couple of the other drivers. Is this a track you're familiar with? Interesting that Craig was just saying that he's only literally spent an hour on the track this week in practice. How about you?
Well, I raced here in 2019 in real life with the SMRC, and then I've done a few track days and stuff. But on the sim, I mean, I only bought the track about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, it's pretty realistic to how it is in real life. So, yeah, it's a nice track. I'm glad we're not coming back to here though. with this multi-class racing, it's not pretty.
Not well. It was certainly exciting to watch, that's for sure. And congratulations on your third place, because that's obviously great for you and great for the team as well. So well done. In fact, well done to all the drivers tonight, David, for giving us such an exciting evening's racing.
Yeah, certainly is, and great to see Duncan back at it at his natural home here at Knockhill. But of course, we move our attention now to next time, because our next round is going to be at Silverstone, Jonna. A tough, tricky, but definitely not tight and not short circuit. They're really going to be able to stretch their legs and really going to be able to get the top speed of these cars out.
Indeed, and I'm not quite sure which of the Silverstone circuits we're using, but it's a circuit of pace, and of course the one thing that these Porsches have is pace, and so we could be in for some very, very interesting races next week.
Yep, looking forward to it indeed. So on behalf of myself, David Christie, and just before we do go, actually, I'm cutting things a bit short too early, as Mike brings up the championship standings. RAFE Motorsports on the top there with just 1 point from British Army GT4, joint with that RAF Motorsports GT3, and then RAF Motor Racing GT3 in 4th place as well, all the way down to 10th position. But there we go, that is us for tonight, as we see confirmation of the Drivers' Championship. Craig Durran extending his lead now to 13 points going ahead into next week, so it's all still to play for. We're not even halfway into the season. Silverstone National is going to be the venue for our next race. On behalf of our production team, Mike Yao, a huge thank you to everyone behind the scenes at RAFE Motorsports, and a huge thank you as well to my co-commentator, as always, keeping me right here tonight, John Knighton, and myself, David Christie. Thank you to you at home for watching, and we will see you for round 4 at Silverstone.